This wipe I made another billion rubles, and I'm going to explain exactly where I farmed and what maps were the most efficient for making money. If you're a brand new player and this amount of money seems absolutely crazy to you, then at the end of the video I'll outline a simple strategy for learning how to get comfortable making money. On my PMC, I made about 400 million on Streets of Tarkov, and if you have a good PC and are therefore able to run Streets with decent FPS, then Streets is the best for money running. I focused on looting safer parts of the map, trading high value loot for faster raids and higher survival rate. Early wipe, I started at about 1 mil per hour, and then as PMC skills increased and I got access to larger bags, that increased to 3 mil per hour. I go in depth on my Streets money run strategy, loadouts, routes, and more in this guide here. But if you can't run Streets, then I found Ground Zero to be only slightly worse rubles per hour. I made about 100 million on the map and maintained an average of 2.5 mil per hour late into the wipe. But I also got around 50 FPS more compared to on Streets, which made it far more enjoyable to play on. My complete Ground Zero guide is also in the description below. Next, I made about 100 mil on Reserve, but it wasn't as good as Ground Zero because I ran into far more players camping extracts or dark corners, which really cut into my survival rate and therefore rubles per hour. Finally, for PMC, when I got sick of dying to campers, I ran a little labs, making only about 70 mil. Mostly I was just there to have fun and shoot anything that moved. I have a boatload of labs, PvP, and loot guides, which I'll also put in the description. Now onto my SCAV runs. This wipe was my first time in 3 years or so that I ran SCAVs for anything other than checking my connection stability to a server or teaching a new player, as I always thought that it was deathly boring gameplay and terrible for rubling efficiently. So in order to finally get some data to support or refute my beliefs, I completed 2 large-scale timed tests with a total sample size of 330 million rubles made over 116 hours and 36 minutes, which resulted in Reserve coming in first at an average of 3.44 mil per hour over a sample size of 20 hours and 22 minutes. What I learned from the SCAV test is that I had massively underestimated how efficient SCAV runs were for making money. Now, if you're a new player and have no idea how to make money, then what you should do is start by picking one map to focus on, because there is so much to learn about each map that it will take less time getting to the point where you can make money comfortably on one map than if you were to split your attention between multiple maps. For your starting map, any is fine except Labs and Factory, as they are much more difficult to learn to make decent money on than the other maps. Once you've chosen a map, start by learning the layout in SCAV runs, and during your SCAV cooldown, run it in offline mode. Use resources like Map Genie and Tarkov Help to learn the layout, and copy my strategy for the maps shown in these guides here, where I briefly run through my SCAV strategies for each map. Once you're comfortable navigating offline and can make a little money on SCAV runs, start running a budget loadout on your PMC in between your SCAV runs, and focus on really safe runs, avoiding hotspots. For Streets and Ground Zero, I cover where the dangerous parts are in these guides, but for the other maps, I'll mark the main hotspots and put them in the description below. Once you're comfortable making money with a budget loadout, while sticking to safe parts of the map, gradually upgrade your loadout and venture more frequently into the risky areas so that you can learn how to fight other players. Remember, if you ever find yourself running out of money, you can always revert back a step or two temporarily. Finally, rinse and repeat this strategy for every other map, and remember, it doesn't matter how much money or gear you have stashed. Far more important is your ability to make money efficiently. So if you still have some gear fear, try burning your entire stash playing risky, and then play safe to build back up to a couple of mil, and repeat this a few times until you no longer care about running out of money.